Welcome to Our Girl Relationships. We talk about the problems people face in their day to day lives. Let's start with the video. I lost my mother when I was 13 to cancer, so it was never like I had no pre existing memories of her. Damn, I feel like I had more memories with her during that period of my life than with my dad, who I barely ever saw because he was so busy with work. Yeah, work. You all can already see where this is going. Well, the memories kind of go blurry when my mom was diagnosed with cancer, and it was only about a month from then that she passed away. Heartbreak would be an understatement because I had lost my best friend. Well, things just went downhill from there onwards. My dad started showing his true colors, which he was hiding previously. He started bringing all his affairs, which he was previously hiding, back home. Seeing your dad bring a woman who was as young as 20 back home during the same week as her death was mentally draining, to say the least. This man really showed more love and care to his random flings than he ever did to me. Needless to say, I have raised myself ever since then. When I turned 18, my dad met Isabella. She was a young woman who had graduated from the small university he is the president of. Isabella was okay. She had no interest in speaking to me, and neither did I. So by the time she moved into our house, I had moved out, thinking by the time I came back for the holidays, she'd be gone like one of the many women my dad had had flings with. But guess what? Isabella was different. Not only was she present for the holidays of my first year of university, but the second and the third too, until one day, right after my graduation, I received a very formal wedding invite. Yeah, my own dad never bothered to tell me he was getting married. Hell, I didn't even know that they were engaged, but hey, I wouldn't mind going to watch a rich man in his late 40s getting married to a young woman in her early 20s. The wedding was obviously going to be expensive, and I just wanted to have a couple of drinks. Boy, the wedding was expensive, fun, and messy. It was great to sit there along with a friend I had dragged as a plus one to judge my dad while Isabella was obviously touchy feely with one of my dad's young groomsmen. But of course, I had zipped my mouth and was enjoying the view. So they get married, and once again, it's dead silence from the two newlywed. I think nothing of it because I'm busy with my own thing. That is when the global situation was happening as well, and so I didn't bother to even visit them. So I found it quite surprising when, right after the lockdown had started to be lifted, Isabella started visiting me at my place. I actually had a pretty decent time with her, and I thought nothing about us getting along. What I found surprising, though, was how she, out of nowhere, brought a literal child with her, claiming that it was my dad and hers and how she had given birth to him during lockdown. I was honestly dumbfounded, but after all that my dad had done, I wasn't shaken up or anything. So I started chilling out with this little dude as well, who undeniably was cute AF. So it's been a couple of months since this thing has been going on. My work completely switched, work from home, and so I didn't have a problem looking after him every once in a while, as Isabella went to run errands. So this time was no different. She dropped Alex off at my place and went to do her thing, but this time she didn't return like she said she would. I immediately realized what was happening and started calling her. No answer. It started hitting me and I panicked, trying to find my dad as well as her on social media, and bro, it was all wiped out. I was left with my jaw on the floor. These people had genuinely ghosted me. I knew I had no choice but to go to the cops, who were of no help because there was literally no information I had about these people. Even back at my dad's workplace, they informed the cops that my dad had been fired 1 month prior to everything happening because my dad had been caught having yet another affair with a student. I was shocked, but I knew I needed to be level headed and take care of Alex. Even though I knew nothing about this kid, I knew I didn't want him to end up like me, and so started taking care of him while the cops, along with the CPS, granted me temporary custody of him. at least until the parents showed up. Well, they didn't for the past 2 years until today. I received a letter in the mail with a name that I could barely recognize. I thought it might have been from my neighbors, delivered to me on accident, but after looking at the address, which matched to mine, I decided to open it and was dumbfounded to find out that it wasn't just any letter, it was a lawsuit sent to me by a person with an unknown name for having custody of their son without their consent. Huh? Was my immediate reaction. I decided to look up the name on Facebook, and guess what? That person is none other than the guy who was being touchy feely with one of my dad's groomsmen, suing me for his son that I had been taking care of. Needless to say, I will be going to lawyers soon. I know I'm not wrong here, but I still can't help but ask AITA, do I have a leg to stand on here? What should I do? I visited the lawyers today who told me that my case was pretty strong since I not only have proof documented from the cops and CPS of my multiple attempts of trying to reach out to the parents of the child, I also have a good leg to stand on for child support as well. But before that, the lawyer has sent in a request for a court mandated DNA test, which honestly, I'm fairly sure that it will come positive. Another major update would be that after years today, I saw that my dad reactivated his Facebook page. I took no hesitation and messaged him. At this point, after everything he and Isabella put me through, I have no shame and cussed him out fairly well. But surprisingly, I was shocked that he replied to me, telling me that he had indeed reactivated his account to reach out to me. He has told me that he will be returning back to my city soon. We have decided on meeting for next week. By that time, I will also receive the DNA test results and I will update you all then. A week has passed since I last updated, and I finally had that meeting with my dad, and oh boy, was that meeting one of the most insightful conversations I've had with that man after a while. He sat me down and explained that he had no idea that Isabella had left Alex at my place. He told me that he had left the city a month before Isabella did, when he was fired for having an affair with a student, which he apparently never did, and it was a plan by Isabella to ruin his life after he had found out about her plans to run away with David, the groomsman, and that Alex wasn't his biological son. So this was enough to shock me, but when I asked him why she wanted to leave Alex behind and why David was now suing for custody, he said that the only sane explanation for that would be the fact that Isabella wanted nothing to do with Alex, but David wanted to be a parent to him. So when she wasn't ready to tell him where Alex was, their relationship might have begun on a rocky note and ended eventually as David could not handle being without his son. That is when David started his search, and it was only around a month before I got the lawsuit documents that he had reached out to my dad for some leads, and after stalking around a little, they both found my Facebook where I had pictures of Alex with me. Well, my dad wanted to go through the normal route and first reach out to me, but David, in a fit of rage, just sued me, which is what caused my dad to reach out to me. I can't believe I'm saying this, but it is the first time that this man apologized to me, and I couldn't help but cry over hearing all of this. That is when my dad said he would try his best to help fix everything, but if David isn't convinced, he personally promised to help me with the case. So, this is where I am currently. I know this is just as much for you all to take in as it is for me. I will update you all as much as I can soon, though. I met David along with my dad and explained everything to him. We put all the pieces together, and newsflash, the both of them realized that it was truly Isabella who was the villain in this situation. It was truly weird to see how dense David was, that I literally had to point it out to him, but honestly, the fact that he understood is all that mattered. So he decided that he wanted to do an out of court settlement with me before going after Isabella for child abandonment, who is currently residing in Europe. David was great about this situation overall. He was extremely patient and didn't hesitate to sort out any and all money that he owed me for caring for Alex. I decided to put my foot down at the point where he said he wanted to set up a custody agreement wherein he got full custody for Alex. I told him that he had to start off with visitation, otherwise, I would have absolutely no problem going through the proper route and getting full custody of Alex after him and Isabella both abandoned him for so long. I guess that put him in place, and we have now started visitation. Alex seems to be enjoying seeing his dad. As for Isabella, I have agreed upon being a piece of evidence as the lawsuit between her and David starts. I have also put Alex into therapy because I know for a fact that he will definitely need it once these changes become permanent in his life. And that is all, guys. Thanks again for your amazing advice and support. I don't think you have anything to worry about here. In fact, you should be glad that a parent reached out to you because now you can sue for all the money you've been spending on Alex. Just make sure to hire a good lawyer. Isabella seems like the mastermind behind all of this. I mean, how come a man who has been having all these affairs for years suddenly get caught? Not defending him, but there's definitely something going on, and I really hope you get the answers to them soon. There's a pretty big age gap between my sister and I, so when I was 12, I became an aunt, and my nephew was born the day before my birthday. I'm turning 21 this year, and my nephew is turning 9. Since he was born, my family just did joint birthdays, but they were clearly always directed towards my nephew and had to be kid appropriate. It sucked turning 16 and 18 and having my birthday party be a kid's party. I figured this year, as I'm turning 21, and we haven't had a birthday parties for like 2 years, that I'd get to finally have my own party. I texted my sister and parents and told them for my birthday I wanted to go to this restaurant that has amazing reviews on their food and cocktails. I don't want to get smashed. I've obviously drank before, but I wanted to dress nice and have a fancy dinner and drinks for my birthday with my family. It was a unanimous no, as it wasn't child friendly for my nephew's birthday. I tried to negotiate. I'll pay for my own food and drink, and I'll pitch in towards the bill. We can go on a different day, so my nephew also gets his own birthday. All no, no, no. Joint party or nothing. Honestly, I probably have kept some of this pent up, but I texted them that it was bullshit, that I haven't gotten to have my birthday, a me day, since my nephew was born. I never get to choose anything theme, cake, food. It's 100% my nephew's day, except I get my name in the birthday song and the gifts. I get that this sounds spoiled, and I know it is 100% a first world problem, but I think the root of it is I feel like since my nephew was born, I'm the runner up in regards to my birthday. It feels like I got put on the back burner for the shiny new baby, and I've carried that from age 12 to today. I tried to explain this to my sister, but she says I'm being selfish, and that since our birthdays are so close together, it makes more sense to have joint parties, and I need to get over my jealousy of my nephew. I'm not jealous of my nephew, it's not his fault. But I just want to have my 21st birthday be my birthday. I feel really torn between wanting to be selfish and beating myself up for being selfish. AITA? NTA, you deserve your own birthday. They are the ones being selfish and lazy. They're acting like your birthday is an inconvenience for them. Go out and celebrate with friends if your family can't be bothered. NTA, 21 is a milestone birthday. I don't really understand the problem though. Why can't they have a birthday party for him on his birthday and then celebrate your birthday the next day? Your task isn't terribly difficult. Go out to dinner. Big deal. Nephew can come. He just has to drink a Shirley Temple. They have gotten into the habit for so long that they have come to expect it. You were completely respectful when you indicated you wanted a different kind of party for you, even offering to pay for your own birthday dinner. WTF? They are the ones that are selfish for not wanting to inconvenience themselves in order to celebrate this one special birthday. Your family needs to do better. If they can't bring themselves to celebrate your birthday parties 2 days in a row, then please go out with your friends on your birthday and celebrate. I, 34 female, have three younger sisters, 22, 20, and 19. I was adopted, but the younger three are my adopted mom's bio kids that she had later. Their dad left and moved to a different state when the eldest, Carol, was 6. And as such, she was the only one that remembered him to a noticeable degree. She ran off as soon as she turned 18 to join her estranged father in a shady religious compound. Long story. And it remained like that for the next several years. That was until a couple of months ago that Carol died unexpectedly, and our family had a bit of a dilemma after we got the body back from the police. Our family has never had that much money, and all my mother could afford was a simple, direct cremation. We all know that, given how religious she was, this wouldn't have been what she wanted, but she left no will because she died at 22. My mother called me the other day to ask if I would be willing to pay for a burial, and after some calculations, I found it would be technically possible, but I would have to be very lean for about a half a year afterwards to compensate. My mother said no problem, and we would just have her cremated. Yesterday, my middle sister, Marie, called screaming at me about how selfish I was and that since I could afford it, I should do it for the family. This is very out of character since Marie basically never expresses emotions. She said that I was being selfish and dishonoring Carol's memory by forcing our mom to dispose of her body in a way she wouldn't have wanted. I said that one, that isn't a sacrifice I'm willing to make, given Carol didn't have a will and we never had a functioning relationship, and two, she went off to another state immediately and nobody in the family had spoken to her since 2018. Marie has gotten her father's extended family involved, and they've been blowing up my phone constantly with how I am selfish and ungrateful for the sacrifices Carol made. Marie has continued to insist I am wrong and that I should pay the rest since neither her nor my younger sister, Lily, have jobs. I am quite honestly shocked by this outburst and I don't really know where it's coming from. Given how out of character this is for her, I'm wondering if I'm in the wrong. I asked Lily, who says that she's sad that Carol can't be buried, but it's ultimately my money and I can do what I want with it. Our mom is completely on my side. She never got along with Carol because of how enamored she was with her ex husband. I can't decide if I was TA or not in this situation, since I technically can afford it even if it requires insanely strict budgeting, so AITA. I have done some of the things recommended by you wonderful people. So this is what happened. I talked with my mom about how Marie found out. She said that Marie asked about our conversation, and my mom basically said the same thing that I said in this post. Marie even confirmed that story, so I've determined my mother was NTA. Marie just blew it up out of proportion. I told the dad's extended family that I would be happy to chip in some of the cost if they could also foot part of the bill. They stopped messaging me after that. I don't know if that means they are deliberating or gave up. Marie has calmed down some, and we were able to have a civil discussion in person. She apologized, and I asked how she truly felt about Carol's passing. She said that it hit her harder than expected. I recommended grief counseling, and she said she would look into it. Marie also said that she will be looking for a job now, which will hopefully be more money to take care of Lily in the future. Overall, I think it's working out. Thank you guys so much. I'll keep you all updated if anything else noteworthy happens. NTA. If Marie and their dad's family are hell bent on having her buried, they are more than welcome to either cover all the costs or pay the difference between a cremation and burial and the added expenses such as plot and headstone. NTA, NTA, NTA. You actually can't afford the funeral, but would be able to go into debt for it. You just don't want to. There's a difference. Maybe not a single person on her father's side can pay for the funeral, but collectively, perhaps they could all pitch in and come up with something.